بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، خصوصا على سيد الرسل وخاتم الانبياء وعلى اله الازكياء واصحابه الاتقياء، اما بعد. فاعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وكلا وعد الله الحسنى. صدق الله العظيم. One of the most important traits of a sound Muslim is that in addition to loving Allah and the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we have extreme and immense love for the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is a very important thing for us, because someone who views the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as not being important and integral in the foundation of this religion, and someone who discards the companions, in essence, is discarding the full deen. The reason is this: every hadith that we have from the Prophet ﷺ, who is it narrated by? The companions. Every verse of the Quran that we have today, ultimately, who is it narrated by? To us all. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Therefore, there is a great importance of the companions in our tradition. The Sunni Muslims commonly refer to themselves as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And when I ask this question, do people even know what the term Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah means? Most of the time, people don't know what it means. They'll take a guess. Everybody knows Ahlul Sunnah means Ahlul Sunnah to Rasul. Ahlul Sunnah means the people of Sunnah. But very few people know what the word Jama'ah means. Some people think it means Jama'ah Tabliq, someone thinks it means Jama'ah this, Jama'ah that. But the truth is that the word Jama'ah here is actually referring to Wal-Jama'at as-Sahaba. That we are the people of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the group of the companions. This is in response to a group of people who came in Islamic history who said, we will follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, not all of the Sahaba, only one Sahaba. Ali radiallahu anhu. We're going to follow only one Sahaba. Ali radiallahu anhu, that's it. So that's when the Sunni scholars said, our position isn't that. We uphold all the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. So you'll notice this, that when parents give birth to a child, one of the first things they do is they think of a name. And believe me, half of the time the names that are chosen for children that are born are names that are based off of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Believe it or not, today there are probably 1,000 kids named after the Sahaba. Somewhere in the world, spread out here and there, there was Abu Bakr born today, most likely. Probably definitely an Umar born today, and Uthman was probably born today, another Ali was born, another 10 Alis probably were born. The names of the companions, because we have such a love for them. And we should have love for the companions. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, and this is a hadith we commonly hear in the Jummah khutbah, مَنْ أَحَبَّهُمْ فَبِحُبِّي أَحَبَّهُمْ وَمَنْ أَبْغَضَهُمْ فَبِبُغْضِي أَبْغَضَهُمْ. And whoever loves my companions, the reason why they love my companions is actually because they love me. And whoever has a problem with any one of my companions, it's actually because they have a problem with because they have hatred towards me. How can a Muslim ever hold any ill feelings for any companions? Now, on a scholarly level, not on a general level, on a scholarly level, it is possible that a scholar may differ from a riwayah that's narrated by one sahabi and may give preference to a riwayah from another sahabi. That's possible. So for example, you have two sahaba who differ in opinion. You have Aisha radiallahu anha and Ibn Abbas radiallahu anha. Aisha radiallahu anha says, I swear by Allah, anyone that says that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the night of Isra and Mi'raj has lied. It's not true, it didn't happen. She was so strong in that position. The Prophet ﷺ did not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the other hand, you had Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, right, who used to say that the Prophet ﷺ definitely saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during Isra and Mi'raj. So you have two companions here, two different positions. The companions differ on so many 50 issues. Just because a person doesn't take the opinion of one Sahabi and takes the position of another Sahabi, it does not give them the right to be disrespectful to the other companion. This is a very important principle to understand. Okay? Because the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, their honor is preserved. There are many ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which we are prohibited to be disrespectful to the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. In one narration, he said, ﷺ, "La tasubbu ashabi." Don't curse my companions. Don't say anything bad or ill about my companions. We also know that the Quran teaches us a very beautiful dua. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا رَبَّنَا. Oh Allah, don't let any animosity or any bad feelings, any ill feelings be in our heart for those people who have passed us in faith. And the companions without doubt have passed us in faith. How can our hearts or our tongues say anything or hold any ill feelings regarding a people regarding whom the Quran tells us you need to make sure your iman matches their iman? You know how when you want to manufacture something, you create a prototype, right? After you create a prototype, you send it to the manufacturing facility and say, replicate this by 1,000 times. And then when they do, when they review the product to make sure there's quality, when they do quality, what do they call it? Quality assurance? Quality control, quality assurance. When they're running their quality control, quality assurance, what they do is that every product that was made is compared against what? That very same standard, that very same bench. Does it add up or not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, you know what He makes that bench? فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. If their faith lines up to your faith, and your faith is in the plural form, if it was singular, then we would say that you is referring to the Prophet ﷺ. If it was آمَنْتَ بِهِ, singular, we would say that you is referring to who? The Prophet. But it's not singular. What is it here? It's plural, yes. And because it's plural, what we know is it's talking to the people in front, and those are the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. So there are so many ahadith in this regard, so many ahadith in this regard. This becomes a very big problem when we tell people not to hold ill feelings or say bad things against a companion. You know where this becomes a big problem, should I tell you guys? When we talk about the dispute between Ali radiallahu anhu and Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. Every time I give this khutbah or I give this lecture, there's always someone that comes to me after the khutbah or lecture and says to me, Imam, I can respect all the Sahaba except for Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. I can't respect him. Because he made X, Y, and Z decision, and he wasn't right and he was wrong and this, that, and the other. Now, who was right and who was wrong in that dispute should be left to the Imams and scholars, because it's a very academic and very technical discussion. Even though most scholars do agree that the position of Ali radiallahu anhu was more correct because he was the Khalifa at the time. And the ittiba' of the Khalifa is more important than anything. Now, regardless whether a person agrees with Muawiyah radiallahu anhu's political positioning or not, we do not have the permission to be disrespectful to someone who without a doubt was a companion of the Prophet. Muawiyah radiallahu anhu was a Sahabi, and there is no second opinion on that issue. Everyone agrees. He saw the Prophet ﷺ in the state of Iman. He passed away in the state of Iman. That's a definition of a Sahabi. So when we learn about the Sahaba, first and foremost, we need to keep our hearts clear. The Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ are not a place of our critical analysis. We don't critically analyze them. So for example, when you study a chain of hadith, and I'm going to pick up this book right here, this hadith collection, and open up any hadith right here, the hadith will start by saying, حَدَّثَنَا فُلَانًا and فُلَانًا and فُلَانًا and فُلَانًا, that so-and-so narrates from so-and-so, who narrates from so-and-so. What the scholars of hadith will do is that they will sit down and study who the so-and-so is, and each and every one of those people, they will do a critical analysis. Is this person trustworthy or not? You guys understand? Is this person has good memory? Is this person this? Is this person that? They'll do critical analysis. But when it says at the end, I'm Anas bin Malik, then what happens? No need for research. Because it reaches the Sahaba. At that point, there's no need for critical analysis. We still study them, by the way. We'll still share their biography and study them. But that's for fa'idah. It's for extra latifa. More knowledge, more benefit. But no one's going to critically say, if Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates a hadith, or Asma radiallahu anha narrates a hadith, and female, or Salman al-Farsi narrates a hadith, or Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib radiallahu anhu narrates a hadith, whether it's an old person, young person, whether it's a male or female, Arab or not Arab, does that change the hadith in any way at all? Does that affect the hadith in any way at all? Yes or no? Absolutely not. It does not affect the hadith in any way. It does not. We do not give preference to the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha because she was the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam over another sahabiya's narration, even though she wasn't the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's no such thing. That concept doesn't exist. If that person is a sahabi, the chain is authentic and it reaches a sahabi, after that point, that sahabi, all sahaba, as-sahabatu kulluhum adul, every one of the companions are equally just. We accept their narrations. I said in the Jummah Halaqah for those of you that were here, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, how many years was he a Muslim for? During the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? 3 years. But there are sahaba who are much more older than him. When we look at the hadith of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, or better off, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, according to some historians, was the 6th companion to accept Islam. So when you look at the narration of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu and Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, which one would you give preference to? Neither. What did I just say? No one gets preference over anyone. Even though Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, I mean, you won't give preference based off of he came first, he came later. You would give preference based off of other issues. It could be other reasoning and you can create an argument and so on and so forth. But simply because that this sahabi is this person, that sahabi is that person, preference isn't given. We give preference based off other reasons. This is a more technical issue. Sometimes you may give preference based off of the older companion, because they have a wider view of the tradition. That's possible. But otherwise, as-sahabatu kulluhum adul, every one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ are just and they are trustworthy. Now, studying the lives of the companions is very important. The reason why it's important is because the more we study their lives, the more we learn to love the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, the more we appreciate them. I tell my students who study hadith with me that I will teach you the hadith, but it's your responsibility to read the biography of the sahabi you are reading the hadith. So you learn to love them. How many of us sitting here can accurately share the biography of a single sahabi from beginning to end? Not in 2-3 lines, I'm talking about proper detailed biography. You know, take the mic and talk for half an hour about Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu. Or someone take the mic and talk about Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu. Or if anyone here can even tell me the proper name of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. You know, what's the real name? The thing is that we don't know much about the Sahaba of Allah. That's why it's important every now and then we open up the books and read about them. One of my favorite books when it comes to reading about the lives of the companions is a book called Sahaba. Have you guys heard of that before? No? It's a book written by Maulana Yusuf Khandali. Great book. Such a beautiful book. I encourage every Muslim to have a copy of it. It's kind of like the Khatib's cheat book. In that book, all he has is stories of the Sahaba. Just stories. You open up the book, you go to the chapter on crying. You go to that chapter, you open it up, and all you're going to find in that chapter is what? Story. So if you have to give a khutbah somewhere and you're lacking in content, what's the easiest place to go to? Hayat al-Sahaba, open it up. And they're all authentic narrations, by the way. Like robust, solid, authentic narrations. This book has been researched by many muhaddithin, and they've written footnotes on the narrations there. You know, it's a very common book, mashallah. It's accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, one of the companions who I wanted to speak about today, and the reason why I wanted to speak about this companion is because 2-3 days ago I was at home and I was just doing some reading for a class that I had to teach. You know, at the Qalam Institute, I teach Mishkat al-Masabih, which is a more advanced collection of hadith. And as I was reading, preparing for a class, I was reading the brief biography of a companion.